The day I came to inspect the room, the landlady looked at me and said,
"Are you married?
No, ma.
Single girls bring problems."
That was when I should have run. But the rent was cheap, so I stayed. What happened to me in that compound was something I was completely unprepared for. This is African Folktales with Nsinim. Listen to this story. I moved into number 7 Agbado Street because rent in Lagos does not respect human rights. The compound had 1 long corridor, 8 rooms, 1 bathroom that served everybody, and 1 landlady that served nobody peace. Her name was Auntie Felicia Balogun, but we tenants called her quietly the commander-in-chief. She was tall, always wore wrapper tied like battle gear. Her mouth was sharp like razor blade. If arrogance was a perfume, Auntie Felicia would be the distributor. The day I came to inspect the room, she looked at me and said, "Are you married?" I said, "No, ma." She sucked her teeth. Single girls bring problems. I should have run, but rent was cheap, so I stayed. Let me introduce the cast before madness begins. 1. Me, Blessing. Working class babe, peace-loving, slightly sarcastic, just wanted to survive Lagos. 2. Mama Rukayat, a pepper seller with mouth like megaphone. If she laughs, the whole compound knows. 3. Segun the Baba, always shirtless, always cutting hair, never paying NEPA bill. 4. Chidinma the influencer, takes pictures every morning, no job, but always online saying soft life. 5. Baba Kunle, retired civil servant, professional complainer. And of course, Auntie Felicia, the landladies from hell. The next morning, she gathered us like assembly. She cleared her throat. "These are my rules." She brought out paper. No baiting after 9 p.m., no visitors after 7 p.m., no laughing too loud, no cooking beans, smell irritates her spirit, no charging phone when NEPA brings light suddenly. Segun raised his hand. "Ma, when should we charge phone?" She replied, "When you see light, thank God, don't stress it." Her arrogance was professional. Auntie Felicia didn't knock. She announced herself by banging doors like police raid. One afternoon, she shouted, "Blessing, come out!" I ran out thinking fire. She said calmly, "Your bucket is too close to my own bucket." I blinked. "Ma, the bucket is plastic." She said, "So?" The rent day drama. Rent day was her Super Bowl. She would dress in lace, sit outside, cross her legs, and shout names one by one. "Segun!" Segun would come sweating. "Tomorrow, ma," she would reply. "You must be very foolish for saying that. If you can't pay your rent as at when due, pack out." One day, she said to me, "You people should be grateful I rented to you. Other landlords would have increased price." Mama Rukayat muttered, "Then why didn't you increase it?" We all heard it. She heard it too. Then came the 1,000 naira water incident. This was the beginning of war. One afternoon, heat was killing everybody. I pressed the pumping machine. 5 minutes later, bang, bang, bang. "Blessing!" She stood like thunder. "Who told you to press my pump?" I said gently, "Ma, I thought it was for everyone." She laughed. Not normal laugh. Evil laugh. "You will pay 1,000 naira for water from borehole in the compound I lived." That night I whispered to heaven, "God, just send small karma to this woman, even if na baby size." I had no idea what or who was coming. No idea at all. 2 weeks later, a new tenant moved in. Her name was Yabo, a tailor. Short, sharp-tongued, and fearless. The first day she met Auntie Felicia, she said, "Good afternoon." Auntie Felicia replied, "Is the afternoon really good?" Yabo smiled. "If it's not good, make it better." The compound went silent. I knew trouble had rented a room. The madness started gradually.
Yabo cooked beans on Sunday at night while laughing on the phone. Auntie Felicia almost fainted. She stormed out of her room. "Who is cooking beans?" Yabo shouted back. "Is beans not food? Ma, won't I eat again?" From that day, 2 lions were in one cage.
Before I continue, if you are enjoying this story so far, please like this video and subscribe to African Folktales with Nisinem. Your support helps these stories reach more people. Now let me tell you how the real madness began.
One afternoon, Auntie Felicia traveled to the village. Before leaving, she shouted, "If anything spoils in this house, I will know." She left her recharge lamp charging. NEPA surprised us with light. The torch overheated. Smoke came out. People screamed. Someone poured water. Her mattress caught small fire. Not big fire, just embarrassing fire. When she returned and saw it, she cried. We pretended to sympathize, but our spirits were dancing shaku shaku. 2 days later, rain came in full force. Her room leaked like sashi water. Buckets everywhere. Guess whose room was dry? Mine. She came knocking gently, very gently. "Blessing, please, can I keep my bags in your room?" I swallowed, then smiled. My room is completely full," I responded. I heard Yabo giggle. One evening, Auntie Felicia suddenly called everybody in the compound. She stood beside the gate like prison warden and said, "I have a new rule. From today, I will be locking this gate by exactly 9 p.m. every night." Everybody shouted at once, "9 p.m.? Mama Rukayat nearly dropped her pepe. "Ma, that time people are still coming back from work." Segun added, "Even buses are still on the road." But she folded her arms and said, "If you like, come by 2 a.m. This gate will be locked." We begged. She refused. Then she said, "I will give only 1 spare key." Everybody leaned forward. She turned and gave it to Segun. Segun! The same Segun that doesn't even pay NEPA bill. From that day, Segun became night watchman by force. Anytime Auntie Felicia locked people outside, we would call Segun. He would come out shirtless, scratching his chest, opening the gate like community savior. Until one night, Yabo went out and returned at 5 minutes past 8. Plenty time. Segun went to open the gate. That was when we noticed something strange. There were 2 padlocks. Auntie Felicia had added another one. Even Segun's key was useless. Yabo stood outside staring at the gate. Then she laughed. Not funny laugh, the dangerous one. That night, Yabo slept in a hotel. Nobody slept well in the compound because injustice was breathing heavily. A few days later, Auntie Felicia traveled to the village. Before leaving, she warned, "If anybody tries nonsense in this compound, I will know." We nodded like innocent goats. That evening, exactly 8 p.m., Yabo walked quietly to the gate. Calmly, she brought out a brand new padlock and locked it. Kappa! The sound was loud. Nobody spoke. Later that night, Auntie Felicia returned unexpectedly. She tried opening the gate. It did not open. She tried again. Nothing. She banged and shouted, "Open this gate." We peeped from our windows. She screamed, "Who locked this gate?" Everybody replied at once, "We don't know, Ma." That night, Auntie Felicia slept outside. For the first time in her life, the gate did not respect her. Early the next morning, Yabo unlocked it gently and walked past her like nothing happened. Nobody laughed out loud, but inside our hearts, we were clapping. One day, a police van entered the street and stopped in front of our compound. Auntie Felicia froze. Mama Rukaya dropped her pepper and came over to hear what they wanted. Segun ran shirtless, and the police officer said, "Who is the owner of this house?" Auntie Felicia's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Yes, it's me. The officer nodded. We received a complaint concerning illegal rent increment, intimidation of tenants, and tax evasion. The word tax entered her spirit like thunder. Everybody looked at the ground. Even the wall avoided eye contact. Yabo smiled. I felt my heart beat, and the compound went dead silent. The compound was silent. Too silent. Even the mosquitoes paused mid-flight.
The officer brought out a small notebook. Madam, are all your tenants registered? She stammered. Registered? As what? He wrote something. Do you issue receipts? She laughed nervously. Receipt for what? Is it hotel? Another note. Do you declare this property for tax? At this point, her wrapper loosened spiritually. Mama Rokayat whispered, problem, be like waiting. The officer turned to us. Any tenant here has complaints? Nobody spoke. Not because we loved her, because in Nigeria, fear has 9 lives. Then Yabo stepped forward, hands on waist. Officer, should I start from January or February? I wanted to disappear. Auntie Felicia whispered, Yabo, please. Yabo smiled. Ma, Kama already started. I'm just helping. The list of her sins. Yabo began. Collecting illegal fines, locking bathroom at night, charging people for borehole water, increasing rent without notice, entering tenants' rooms without permission. The officer turned slowly to Auntie Felicia. Madam, this is not your father's country. The fact that you are their landlady doesn't mean they should be treated like this. That sentence finished her. Then Baba Kunle cleared his throat. Officer, there is something else. We all turned. This man had been quiet since 1998. He said, this house is supposed to be 2-story residential, but she converted storeroom into 8 rooms. The officer's pen stopped. What storeroom? Baba Kunle pointed. That small dark room beside the toilet, the one Auntie Felicia rented out as self-contained. The officer walked there, opened the door. No window, no ventilation, just suffering. He shook his head. This is illegal. Auntie Felicia began to cry real tears, not motivational tears, the ones that mean problem has landed. Then Yabo cleared her throat again. Officer, there's one more. The officer looked up. Yes? She pointed toward the toilet. Madame does not have proper soakaway. Everybody inhaled at once. Yabo continued calmly. When the toilet is full, they empty it straight into the gutter behind the house. The officer frowned. Into the public drainage? Yabo nodded. Yes, sir. Mama Rukayat added, that gutter smells like sin itself. Even the police officer covered his nose, and he wasn't even close. He wrote something very fast in his notebook. Madam, he said slowly, turning to Auntie Felicia, do you know this is a serious environmental offense? Auntie Felicia whispered, it's only small. The officer replied, Madam, there is nothing small about human waste. That was the moment we knew this matter had passed ordinary problem. She was given 2 options. Pay heavy fine or face cut. She begged, knelt, cried. For the first time since I met her, she said, please. That word sounded strange in her mouth. Eventually, she was fined heavily and given 1 month to renovate the house properly or evacuate all tenants. When police left, she sat on the ground, quiet. No shouting, no insults, no arrogance, just silence. From that day onward, everything changed. She stopped banging doors. She started knocking. She stopped shouting names. She began saying, please. One evening, she even said, Blessing, hope work was fine. I nearly fainted. Yabo touched my shoulder. See how Kama humbled a whole landlady. One Saturday morning, NEPA brought lights. Everybody rushed to charge phones. Suddenly, her voice came softly from upstairs. Please, does anybody have extension? This same woman that once fined us 1,000 naira for water. Segu nearly laughing. Mama Rukayat gave her extension and said, "Take, ma." She whispered, "Thank you." We knew the world had truly changed. 3 months later, Auntie Felicia sold the house, packed quietly. No farewell meeting, no rules, no commandments, just silence. The new landlord came. First thing he said, "This house belongs to all of us. Please be comfortable." He completely renovated the house and brought it up to standard. Life returned to the compound. People laughed freely. Beans cooked proudly. Water flowed without fear. And any time rain fell, we smiled. Because we remembered one thing: arrogance has an expiry date. Karma doesn't shout, it waits. As for Auntie Felicia, last I heard, she is looking out for another house to buy and now rents a room under another landlady. And rumor has it, the woman doesn't allow cooking after 7 p.m. If you treat people like dust, don't be surprised when karma sweeps you away. If you enjoyed this story, then click on this story on your screen. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. See you there.